Do you know that your parents and your friends are ruining your marriage at this very moment? Probably you're separated, probably you're going through a divorce, probably you're living in the same house without any happiness. And somewhere deep down, you think that her parents are ruining your marriage or her family is ruining your marriage. But have you ever thought that how about your parents? The things that they're doing is ruining your marriage without being aware of what they're doing. That's exactly what I'm going to talk about in this video. Hi, Coach Val here. I teach relationship science to men to bring back love into their marriage. And before I start this video, I want to be very clear. Like all my other videos, this video is too for men who want to bring back love into their marriage. It is not for men who want to criticize, blame their wife, because by criticizing and blaming, you can never bring back love. So let me start with talking about the basics about what happens in your marriage for you to understand how your parents and how your friends are actually ruining your marriage in the name of supporting you. It's not that they want to ruin your marriage, but the things that they're doing is ruining your marriage. So the first thing that I would like you to learn is that your marriage is supposed to go through 3 stages. No matter who you get married, no matter how many times you get married, whether it is a love marriage, arranged marriage, it really doesn't matter. Your marriage is supposed to go through 3 stages. I talk in depth about these 3 stages in my free masterclass, and I'm giving you the link in the description as well as in the comment section. Just click the link below, just click the link and sign up for this free masterclass. Here I'm going to give you a short overview of these three stages. The first stage of your marriage is called the romance stage. For some, it is very short. For some, it is few months. For some, it is 1 or 2 years. But no matter, regardless of who you marry, how many times you marry, whether it is a love marriage, arranged marriage, this romance stage is supposed to end. And then you jump into the next stage called the power struggle stage, where you start having fights, you start having arguments. And now the interesting part is 7 out of 10 marriages never cross the power struggle stage. There are men and women, there are couples across the globe who are married for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and even today, they're fighting, they're arguing, there is absolutely no love. And then there is a third stage that very few couples across the globe are able to live out here. Whereas most couples live at power struggle stage and once in a while they visit mature love stage. Whereas very few couples, they live at mature love stage. All right. Now what I'm interested in is what really happens when we enter into power struggle stage. And that will help you to understand how your friends and parents are ruining your marriage. When we get into power struggle stage, we start having fights and arguments in our relationship. We start having fights and arguments and these fights and arguments can begin for different topics. The topic really doesn't matter. It could be the in-laws or it could be the toothpaste. So it could be the fights really doesn't matter. But when we get into the fights and arguments, we get into something called a drama triangle. So let me explain what a drama triangle is. So the drama triangle is made of 3 main characters. So if you watch any movie, any serial, you will see that these serials have 3 main protagonists or 3 main characters. The first character is the victim, the person who feels that something wrong is done to him. And the second character is the victimizer, the person who is inflicting pain on this victim. And the third character and the interesting character is a rescuer. So if you're watching a movie or a serial, the first thing they do is they show us the victim. And how do they do that? They show the background of that person and the pain that person has gone through, and then they show the victimizer. So once these 2 things are settled, they make us the rescuer. And as a rescuer, we want that victim to win over the victimizer. And that's why we watch the full movie. We don't want to stop watching the movie halfway. Even if there is a serial like this Sasbahu serials which go on for years and years, people still want to watch them even after 5 years, 10 years, because they want the victim to win. Now, what happens in our marriage? What happens in our marriage is whenever we have a fight, whenever we have an argument, we feel like a victim. We feel that our wife doesn't understand us, care about us, think about us, is not concerned about us. And when we feel that way, we consider our wife as a victimizer. And what happens to our wife? The same thing happens, because our wife is a reflection. So she also thinks like a victim. She considers us as a victimizer and she looks for rescuers. Now what happens? What happens is, when we feel like victims, the first thing we do is we look for a rescuer. So we go to our parents and we tell the story of our marriage. What happened yesterday? How my wife treated me, how she spoke to me, what she did, what she didn't do, and then what happened. And when we are telling this story, there is something interesting happens. The interesting thing is that relationships work on the third principle of Newton. That is, every action has equal and opposite reaction. But the interesting thing is our brain hides our action and highlights our partner's reaction. So when we are telling the story of our marriage, let's say what happened yesterday, we are actually telling them what our partner did. And when our parents listen to it, they feel sorry for us. They feel sad for us, for the pain that we are going through. And they start supporting us. In other words, they become a rescuer. And as soon as they become a rescuer, we continue to be the victims in our marriage. As long as we are continue to think that we are victims, we consider our partner as a victimizer. And as long as we are in this drama triangle, there's one more drama triangle that's going on in your wife's mind and in your wife's life, where she thinks like a victim, you are a victimizer, and her parents are rescuers. So now, at this particular juncture, any advice they give you makes you feel good about yourself, makes you feel that you're doing the right thing, you're on the right track. And because of this, the drama of your marriage continues. And as long as there is drama that continues in your marriage, you cannot bring back love, because you're constantly blaming your spouse. You're not taking responsibility for what's happening in your marriage. And because of that, you're not able to change yourself. And because of that, your wife is also not changing. So this is how your parents ruin your marriage. They are being really good to you. They are being really nice to you. And by really good to you and by being really nice to you, they are ruining your marriage. Now, what do? What you need to do is you need to get out of the victim mindset. If you are part of the Awesome Marriage Coaching Program and you're part of the community called Awesome Husbands Hub, you know that the first part of this program is to help you to get out of the victim mindset, because victims cannot have a great marriage. They always have a miserable marriage. So what do you need to do? The thing you got to do is to change this triangle, which is pointing downward. That means you're going downward, into a triangle that moves upward. In other words, you have to change this into an empowerment triangle. And in an empowerment triangle, you look at yourself not as a victim. You look at yourself as a creator. And you're asking yourself, how can I create love in this marriage? How can I find out what action of mine is creating this reaction in my wife? And you look at your wife as a challenger. In other words, she's challenging you to be a better husband, more loving husband, more caring husband. And you look for coaches. So my work in working with all these men that I work with is not to be a rescuer, but a coach. So what do you do with your parents who constantly tell you, oh yeah, you are right, and she's wrong, and she's doing this, and she's doing that. She has no love for you. What kind of a woman is she? And when she is saying all that, what you need to do is, that's what the men in our community do, is they support their wife. Because right now they understand through learning relationship science that they understand that all that happened in their marriage did not happen by itself. They had an equal role to play. So they help their spouse, or they help their parents to understand how their wife has gone through the pain she has gone through, and because of it, she has made a decision that she has made. And now they invite their parents not to be the rescuers, but to be the coach, to be the supporters, to help that person to get their wife back, to have a great marriage. So that's all I wanted to share in this particular video. If you liked what you have heard so far, just click the like button. If you have not subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Click on that bell icon so that you get the notification first. And finally, if you liked this video and if you learned something, go to the comment box and write one thing that you have learned. If you're part of our Awesome Husbands community, then write #AwesomeHusband and write in the comments what's the one thing that you have learned. So that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, as always, keep your love story alive. Bye-bye.